Thanks to the support as a channel member, Jack Watson. Well, I'm assuming you all watched the transfer video yesterday and as clued in as I am about whether my team is better or worse than it was at the end of last season. I'm very confident it's better. We'll find out now. Our first full season in charge of Charlotte begins here, and the media think we're in with a chance of winning the league. We almost finished bottom last year. And of course, let's not forget, if you didn't watch to the end of the transfer special, we did lose the best player in the MLS to a season-ending injury. We added him to the season-ending injury list. So even if he recovers from his torn cruciate ligament, that's going to keep him out for 9 months, he won't be allowed to play anyway. That seems like a completely normal and reasonable rule. So Unlove is unavailable. We've also got the best goalkeeper in MLS. Unfortunately, he's got the flu, so he's not going to be able to play today either. And we kick things off with a match against Inter Miami. And as you can see, we're supposed to be favourites to win the league, or amongst the favourites to win the league. I am fascinated that the teams that are in the Champions League are so far down on this. What an insane league this is. It really is bonkers. Inter Miami, though, nowhere near as good as us. We do still have Asker in the Dream 11 as one of the best players in the league. And like I say, Yamo is the best goalkeeper, but we've lost our best winger. And we've still got loads of money to spend, and there doesn't seem to be a transfer window here. So transfers could still be ongoing. Would love to find a way to spend some of this. It's like the reverse problem of every other problem I've ever had at every other football club ever. But we are close to maxing out on our salary cap, so I don't know how much more we can actually do. I feel like the salary cap might be a little lower than it needs to be based on the money we're generating without even playing in the Champions League. But this is our team for the first day of the new season. I'm going to get the disclaimer out now. My PC has been completely rebuilt over the weekend, reinstalled Windows, everything. So if things look a little bit weird, we're going to be figuring things out as we go. For a start, I can see for some reason we've got the ID numbers on, and I don't know why. So I'll take them off before the next match. I don't think it's a big deal before this match, but yeah, everyone's got their ID numbers on, which is very strange, but this is our team. So it's Jordan Krause in goal. He was here last season. We had moved him into the Crown Legacy squad, but he's now back up into the first team squad because of that injury to Yamoa. At left back, it's Prencha, Contreras and Fus at centre back. Contreras, remember, is the centre back, the big strong centre back who we spent a lot of money on. He's on 59 grand a week. Full fat designated player. He partners our youngster Fus at centre-back, and Dylan Deluli, who was one of our Champions League winning stars from Stellenbosch, has joined us here in MLS now, but he's going to have to play right-back because we don't have a right-back. So he'll love it. We've got Asker in midfield, another centre-back. We've got 4 centre-backs on the pitch to start the match. So Asker's going to play in midfield because we don't really have anyone else who can play there either, alongside Runnerson, who is one of my best players. I'm a big Runnerson fan. We've got new boy Jesus Velez on the left, who came in on a free transfer from Independiente Medellin. And, I mean, look at his goal-scoring record as a winger as well. I mean, he can play up front, but I'm hoping we're going to see some goal returns from this boy. On the right-hand side, we've got new boy Mehmet Karakas, who we've had to bring in to replace Unlove for the season. He's cost us £5 million. Estevez is our new Argentinian attacking midfielder because we lost our last one. And then Davies is going to start the season as striker because he ended last season really well as our striker. But we, of course, have Kurt Villakazi knocking around, ready to take his spot just as soon as the opportunity presents itself. What's this? Who's this guy? Was this something I was doing? Yeah, I'd like him. Oh, for goodness sake, I need a right back. Can I have him? Yeah, Unlove doesn't need to be a designated player. He's out for the season anyway. This is the bug. I can only think it's a bug that we were having during the transfer window, because we've got 2 buttons at the bottom of the screen. You can't see them because they're behind me. One of them says withdraw, which is not the one I click because in my ignorance, I assume that means we withdraw from trying to sign the player. So I click confirm because it says, as a consequence, Unlove will no longer be on the designated player list and will be classified as a senior player. How do I wish to proceed? Well, I'll proceed by confirming, yeah, do that. I don't know, withdraw that, do that. Watch the transfer fall through. So by confirming, we've upset Unlove because that for some reason stops him from being a star player. I don't know why it does that. and the transfer then falls through. Is there a way to get him off of this designated player list? Can we buy down his contract? Does that do it? I don't know if that's going to take him off being a designated player. I mean, he doesn't even need to be a designated player anyway, because he earns less than the senior player. Can we discuss a new contract with him? No, because now he does want to become a designated. That would take him over being the designated player. That's... Yeah, star player, obviously, but you can't be a designated player. But to be senior... I had some real snarky wangs in the comments on the last video as well, giving it all the, oh, Kev, if you just read the rules, talk to me about how this is the rules and not a bug in the game that this is happening. It's absurd. I'm only allowed 3 designated players in the squad. Well, I only have 2. But I'm not allowed to sign another one. And I'm not allowed to stop him from being one, even though he's below the limit. Oh, read the rules. I've read the rules. It's not the rules that are the problem. It clearly says on here that I've only got 2 designated players in my squad. Why am I not allowed a 3rd? That's nothing to do with the rules. That's just Football Manager things. And it's very upsetting. And we'll just play the match because we can't do the transfer, obviously, because that would be silly. I actually thought it was kickoff time. Apparently it wasn't. Yeah, waiver list. Lovely, lovely, lovely. When is this match kicking off? What's going on? Right. I'm not going to swap that over. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. For some reason, it wants me to swap them and play Asker as the playmaker, who's a defender and a natural ball-winning midfielder. And then he wants me to play Runnison, who's a midfielder playing back there, and he's naturally a deep-line playmaker and has 4 for tackling. It wants him to be the ball-winning midfielder. So I don't know how much I trust my assistant manager currently, but let's give out some squad numbers. I don't know why Philip Foose lost his squad number. I'm choosing not to question anything at this point, but what I would like to do is win the football match and believe that we have a chance of a good season, because it just feels like so much in this save is out of my control and being blocked by bugs that I think we are giving it this one season in MLS. We'll do 1 full season. If we win the league or if we qualify for the Champions League, we're fine. What I'm not going to do is stick around in MLS for 5 years trying to figure out how to build a squad and trying to figure out how to get into the Champions League. We'll just jump ship and go to Mexico if it looks like it's just too broken to work for me. But yeah, I don't think at this point my issue is with the rules. I think I have a decent grasp of the MLS rules. I think my issue now is trying to decipher how Football Manager is interpreting them in a broken way. How do I make Unlove not a designated player anymore? He's not in our squad. He's on the season-ending injury list, and his salary is below the designated player amount anyway, so I don't know why he became a designated player in the first place. I can only assume when I offered him the contract, that's what was selected, and I didn't look. And it's my fault that he was originally there, but why can't I now change him because he's below the limit? Because I've read about it. You should be able to buy somebody back under the limit. His salary contribution is now $2,300. We've just brought his salary down. He shouldn't be a designated player because his salary impact is negligible. I don't understand. But it won't let me take him off that list. And never mind the fact he's stood on that list. He's not even registered in the squad. So we only have 2 designated players in the squad. So even with him as he is, because he's not registered, we should be able to bring in another one anyway, and it won't let me. And that's not me not understanding the rules. That's FM being broken. And I'm hoping someone out there has figured out how to get around it and can help me. Luckily, we don't have transfer windows to contend with. So if we figure it out, we can do signings mid-season once we've figured it out. But yeah, for now, it is broken and problematic. It's 0-0 at half time. And we've been the better team. We're already over 1 for XG, but we're not converting our chances. So that means we are ringing the Kurt Villakazi bell, get him out warming up and get him onto this pitch in the near future, I think. I think that's probably the plan. Right. There is Daluli. Would love to see him score one of his headers for old time's sake. I mean, the amount of big boys we've got in this squad, the chances of us aiming for him are fairly slim. But at times we said that when we were at Stellenbosch and we aimed for him anyway. Right, there is Estevez. Plays it over the top, looking for Mehmet, who's got in behind his fullback here. Cuts it back to Estevez again. It's the fanciest 1-2 in the history of world football. But Estevez has arrived in Charlotte. And that's a lovely goal. Two new boys. Two new boys I didn't even necessarily want. They were kind of purchases of circumstance. We lost our previous attacking midfielder because he was a designated player and I was trying to sign a defender. And we brought in a guy below the limit, Estevez, to replace him. So that was a downgrade to try and get around this designated player nonsense. And Mehmet is in as Unlove's replacement because he got injured. So if it had been a normal league with normal squad building and no season-ending injuries, neither of them would be here. But they've combined very nicely for that goal to put us 1-0 up. And now Aska's injured, which is a big problem because we really don't have any defensive midfielders. Resnek, who is basically a winger, is going to have to play back there. And that's not ideal at all. I mean, Daluli could potentially play there. Are we going back to the days of trying to turn a right winger into a right back? Can you play right back with your 3 tackling? What about you with your 6 tackle? Right, I'm going to play Kim at right back. We're not going to make that change. Resnek's not coming on. We're actually going to bring... Can Foos play right back? He wears number 2. He must be able to play right back. He's going to play right back. Daluli's going to go up there, and we're going to bring on another centre-back. That's probably the most sensible thing to do. And we need to get Foos training to play right-back, just like Daluli is. But yeah, Daluli, he's never going to get to play centre-back in this team, but we're going to enjoy him as a lovely utility man across our defensive positions because he's one of my boys, and I trust him, and I'll play him wherever we have a Dylan-shaped gap. Right, Runnison, looking to get something going for a second goal, trying to play the ball over the top for Davies, can't find him, and it is time for Kurt Villakazi, because Davies has not had a good game. Villakazi comes on. Velez has also not had a very nice time on his debut, so Resnek, who is now a designated player, by the way, or has been offered a contract as such. No, I don't understand. I'm offering him a contract to be a designated player. I wonder if it lets that go through because we've got the vacancy. And if it does, why didn't it let me sign the right back? Oh, I'd like to think, what are we, 2036 in game? So more than 10 years in the future now. I'd like to think in reality, in the US, this is not going to be an issue in 10 years in the future because surely if they want to continue growing as a league and be taken seriously worldwide, they've got to actually become like a proper league and not this nonsense. We'll see, I guess. I mean, how many designated players have Inter Miami got in real life? They've got like Barcelona's squad from 10 years ago, haven't they? They're not all earning less than 10 grand a week, surely. I don't understand. Right. Can we do another goal, please? Because I am a little bit nervy, only being 1-0 up, especially as we're starting to play a few players out of position because of squad issues that are going to be ongoing because of the stupid way squads work in this silly, silly league. Oh, look at that. I mean, we're a good team. We just haven't got a finisher. Hopefully Villakazi can start scoring the way he did in our Champions League winning season with Stellenbosch because, I mean, he didn't start that season as our first choice striker, but by the end of it, he had 20 goals and was the best striker in Africa, hence us bringing him over here to the MLS. It's taken him a little while to settle in. He's scored a few goals here and there, but hasn't been as prolific as he was in South Africa because presumably it is a step up from the South African League to MLS, but he is Kurt Villakazi. He is going to score all the goals. He didn't score a goal there. Maybe we need to get his old number on his back rather than the pressure of the number 9 show. What was he, number 61 at Stellenbosch? Can we do silly numbers in America? If you can't do silly numbers in America, I don't understand America at all. And that seems unlikely based on everything we've learned from this series so far. I am something of an American expert. Right, Daluli is now shattered. So Bonilla is going to have to play in midfield now. Luckily, we've got so many centre-backs. We're just going to keep playing them out of position. We've used 6 centre-backs in this game. I'm channeling prime Pep Guardiola. Just centre-backs, centre-back. All you need is centre-backs. If you've got loads of centre-backs, everything else takes care of itself. Right, Resnick. Score this and you can become our third designated player. I'll find a way around the rules for you because I am a hero. Will you be a hero too? Stick it in the top corner. I don't know what's taking so long. Right, there you go. He gets his new contract. We don't need a right back. We've got Tamas Resnick, who was wanted in the closed season by Southampton. So potentially like championship level player, which has got to be a good standard for being a star in the MLS, surely. But that has been a very, very comfortable win on the first day of the season. We've absolutely dominated. We need to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal, but defensively, we've been very solid. Good job we scored that second goal, isn't it? Because that would have been a problem if we'd have had match stats like that and ended up 1-1. That would have been really quite upsetting. But no, we win on the first day. Fingers crossed. We're not rubbish anymore. I mean, and that's every one of our Media Dream 11 players is now injured. And we can't renew Resnick's contract. Right, I'm going to try pressing withdraw and see if that makes it happen. Because we know confirm doesn't work. Does withdraw work? No. There aren't more than... That number is 2. That line is not all the way across. I don't understand. Never mind the fact... We bought an extra slot during the last episode. It made it into the video. I was offered an extra slot and I bought it. The money left my account. Who have I paid? Who sent me that mysterious email saying, hey, Kev, do you want another designated player? Just PayPal me this money. Where did that go? Oh, my word. Right. Let's go to New York. Specifically, we're going to this part of New York that's not in New York because it appears to be over this sea here. You might call it a river. It's clearly the sea. Goes over this sea, which takes us into New Jersey. I don't understand. I mean, it's not even in the same state. Is it? I don't know how America works. Right, let's go find the stadium. It actually looks like a football stadium, which is a positive. Right next to the river as well. Very nice. Let's have a little look with our little man. Oh, look at that. We can do a whole little route around it. Someone's strapped a GoPro to the front of the lawnmower. This is a lovely stadium. This looks like the kind of stadium you would see in Europe. I approve. Let's go. I'll have a look outside as well. Doesn't look like it's a particularly scenic part of town. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Cape May Street. That's my kind of street. And there you go. Not really anything nearby. Does look very European, though. Apart from the car park. Obviously, in Europe, we don't do car parks. But this is the team we will be fielding for that matchup. We've moved Deluli up into midfield. Jack Ordaz, who's not very good, but can play right back, comes into the team to do exactly that. Kraus is still in goal. Contreras is now the latest one of our stars to pick up an injury, but he's going to have to play through it because we're running out of players. And let's hopefully go and win a football match. Oh, we signed this guy as well. He came in on a trade because you can never have too many centre-backs. We got him in exchange for a draft position. Also, I mean, we've established the draft is absolute bobbins. So yeah, I'm not that concerned that we've lost our draft pick for 2043. But we do have an additional centre-back. And, you know, we needed centre-backs. I'm just struggling to find anybody who can play defensive midfield or right-back. So I think I'm just going to fill the squad up with centre-backs and just continue playing 4 every match. We've got 4 out there again today. 2, one different one playing in a different position to what he played in the last match. It's all you need. As long as we've got a good enough attack, centre-backs are going to be better at defending than midfielders, right? I mean, that's some high-level football analysis there. If you struggle to keep up with that, let me know in the comments and I'll do a standalone video on it. Because it was some complex stuff and I went through it quite quickly. But I think, I'll say it again, defenders probably better at defending the midfielders. And on that basis, we might concede less goals if we have more defenders in the team. We have failed to score a goal there because we've been wronged by a match official, which is very upsetting. We are going with Davies up front again for today, but if he doesn't start scoring loads and loads of goals, I really want Vilakazi in the team. And with the distinct lack of defensive midfielders we've got, we do have a few players who can play central midfield. So I might actually switch up to maybe a 4-3-3, which would drop Estevez back. We can then move Runnison forward and have them both playing in their natural centre mid positions, and then maybe stick Big Kurt up front from there. The only reason we played the 4-2-3-1 here to begin with is because our best player was an attacking midfielder, and that's not the case anymore, although Estevez was the best player on the pitch for the first match, so maybe he's becoming that. That was a lovely effort and a very, very good save from the Red Bull goalkeeper, and I'd quite like to score from the resulting corner if that could be arranged. We've gone for a pervert corner, and I don't know why. Cross comes in eventually, and it ends up falling back to Runnison on the edge of the area, who has another pop from range, and somehow it's gone behind for a goal kick, even though it looked like it took a big deflection. So can only assume it took a deflection off of somebody in a rather fetching blue shirt. But it is Red Bull now trying to build things up from the back. Can we take the ball off him? Of course we can. Look at that from Dylan Deluli. Loves playing further forward. He was a midfielder all along. Caracas is in and scores, and it's an assist for Dylan Deluli. Wonderful defensive midfield work from him. And I mean, not that I want to really hammer home how far more advanced than most of you I am tactically. I did say defenders are better at defending the midfielders, and we saw a perfect example of it there. He's a defender, but did you see him do that defending in midfield? That's all you need to do. I'll do a tutorial. I feel like I owe you that. But we are 1-0 up, and this does bode well for the whole purpose of the season, which is obviously to get us into the Champions League. I'm still stinging a little bit that we didn't get into the Champions League last season when we came so close. But I don't know. I think it's the top 3 in the Supporters' Shield get into the Champions League. So we don't really care about winning the MLS Cup. We just want to finish top 3 Supporters' Shield. I mean, if we win the Supporters' Shield as a British person, that's winning the league anyway. Winning the MLS Cup is just like a end of season little party thing. The key thing is that Supporters' Shield. That's actually winning the league. So that's what we really want to do. We'll take an MLS Cup if it's offered to us, but if you say, hey, Kev, have a Supporters' Shield and passage into the Champions League from there, I'll take that. I'll agree to those terms. But it is Red Bull on the attack now, coming down our right-hand side where, of course, we don't have a right-back. But Mehmet Caracas doing some excellent defensive work, getting back there and helping out the lack of right-back. But we do end up eventually giving the ball back to Red Bull again. But this is where Deluli is going to be dangerous. I mean, it's on the wrong side of the pitch for him, so it's Runnison who's trying to do the tackling at the moment. And that's why Runnison doesn't play as the ball-winning midfielder. But Deluli getting back to cover again. I mean, he didn't get anywhere near the ball, but we're going to credit him anyway because he's one of my boys. And Caracas plays it forward to where he probably should have been standing, but he was getting back once again, helping out the defenders because they're not very good. Right, Vilakazi's coming on again. Velez, worryingly, hasn't really turned up yet either. And we're going to take off Contreras because he's injured. So he's done his bit. He's done 70 minutes, but he is injured. And we probably need to protect him because he's one of our most important players. But we have got Kurt Vilakazi on up front now. He hasn't done, we didn't get a single highlight. Estevez is now tired. So we can bring, who knows if it's Brian Mondesi. Don't even know that guy. Don't know how he's made it onto the bench. Deluli's tiring, but we don't have anyone to come on for him. Kim can come on the right-hand side, though, because we do have a little bit of strength in depth over there. We just desperately need a defensive midfielder and a right-back. If we could find, like, 2 players who can play both positions, that would be super handy, because then we could use them interchangeably and just use the likes of Deluli to fill in the gaps when needed, and maybe try playing him at centre-back, which would be a nice treat. I mean, he'd be playing centre-back right now alongside Foose if he wasn't being forced to play in other positions, because obviously with Contreras being injured, that would have been the logical thing to do. Kim playing it across to Foose, who, remember, still a very young man. We are now training him to play right-back as well. Foose plays it forward to Kim, who cuts inside, plays it back to Runnison, who just plays it backwards again. Where's Runnison, the goal threat that we had last season? That's lovely work from Kim. And we have got Villakazi in the middle. If we can find him, he does make contact, but a little bit too firmly, and it ends up sailing over the crossbar. Now, we do have to remember, right at the end of the last match, we did concede that late goal. If we've got that in us again with this very makeshift defence, we might end up regretting what Big Kurt's just done. That's a big miss. But yeah, we would very much appreciate a second goal here today if we could maybe sneak one of those in, or just a final whistle. A final whistle works. We've definitely come here and pulled off a little bit of a mugging, unless they get the goal that they absolutely deserve from this corner. It's Delulu who heads it clear. My South African boys just doing it again and again. They are the heroes. Although it's coming back in again, and Kraus just flaps at it. And this is problematic as we head into the final seconds. That's got to be offside, referee. No? I mean, this is not a nice little habit that we've got. 2 last-minute goals conceded in a row, and this time it has cost us 2 points. And that, boys and girls, is a symptom of no strength in depth and an injury crisis, which is definitely going to need resolving. In the meantime, half the squad are in a grumpy because they want new deals. Problem is, they want new deals as designated players. I don't know if I mentioned it in this episode. Can't really do it. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.